Hello everyone and have a very good day. Welcome to UMT Massive Open Online course. My name is Dr. Maiza and I will be talking about the economical values of the mangroves. Following completion of this lecture, I hope you will be able to recognize and have a basic understanding on the economical importance of mangroves. I will start this topic by giving you an introduction of the economical importance of mangroves in general, and later on discussing the economical values of mangrove in three perspectives, namely timber and forest production, fisheries, and last but not least, the ecotourism. People have long depended on natural systems for our survival and development, including mangrove forests. Knowing the economic worth of ecosystem services can help ensure that those who rely heavily on ecosystems, from government to industries and businesses to all of us as citizens, to see their value and can account for restoration and conservation in their planning and use. The natural capital of mangrove has immense worth not only in sustaining lives and livelihoods of millions of people along the world's coast, but also in real economic terms. Mangrove ecosystems not only produce goods, but they also provide services. And not all are exactly the same. So it is important to realize that different mangrove ecosystems provide different goods and services. For example, fast-growing mangrove, which located in the ever-wet tropics, can sustainably produce timber, but not the slow-growing ones, which usually located in the higher latitudes and with limited rainfall. Goods are products that have tangible values and that can be marketed. It is thus possible, without too many contentions, to put a value on these goods. While mangroves provide many services, but these are less tangible than goods, and although there have been numerous attempts at valuing these services, these values always remain contentious. The values of ecosystem services provided by mangroves can be expressed in a number of ways. In some cases, this can be presented qualitatively, such as the relative regional importance of cultural heritage derived from mangrove to people. In other cases, they can be quantitative terms, such as the amount of carbon stored in mangrove forests. Where appropriate, values can be expressed in monetary or economic terms, such as the market value of mangrove fisheries or timber. Global valuation studies on mangrove ecosystem services offer useful insight into economic values of mangrove ecosystems. However, there are important regional differences in the way mangroves are perceived, valued, or marketed. In fact, the actual values for a given site or given policy decisions will have to be assessed in its specific context, and monetary values taken as indicative. Most mangrove monetary studies have focused on the provisioning services provided by mangrove, including fisheries, timber, and forest products, as these are generally easiest to quantify in market terms. Timber is the most obvious mangrove forest product that has a tangible value and that can be and often marketed. Many mangroves are managed for timber production. Mangrove timber has many uses and has traditionally been used as firewood as well as being converted to top quality charcoal. Mangrove wood is high in tannin and therefore is very sought after for its durability in the timber industry. In fact, mangrove can be very successfully managed for sustainable timber production. The Matang mangrove in Western Peninsular Malaysia are a classic example. The management system in Matang, first started at the beginning of the 20th century, is based on the 30-year rotation. Small areas are clear-felled in a patchwork manner and allowed to regrow before the next harvest. Mangrove wood burns with high heat output and no smoke, making it ideal fuel wood. Coastal rural inhabitants have been using mangrove as fuel for many generations. Consequently, these characteristics make it very attractive for mass collection coal production. Timber and forest products are considered to be of high importance for people in Asia, Africa, and Central and South America, although most of the research has focused on Asia. The market value for these goods typically ranges between several hundred to $1,000 per hectare per year. Perhaps the most exploited and economical profitable parts of mangrove ecosystems are the fisheries. Mangrove waterways are rich fishing grounds, and many commercial, especially the juvenile species, can be found. There are floating aquaculture cages in many mangroves. These are used mainly for culture of fish like sea bass and grouper, and shellfish like oyster, cockles, and mussels. This aquaculture practice has been shown to be sustainable as well as having minimal impact, especially if the estuary is well flushed on the estuary and the adjacent mangrove ecosystem. The other traditional mangrove fisheries range from the mud crabs caught by crab traps to high-quality white prawns. The revenue derived from fisheries far exceeds that derived from forestry. There is a wide consensus, supported by a good number of studies, that enhanced fisheries benefits from mangrove is of high importance across the world. The global market value of seafood from mangrove has been put at anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars per hectare every year. Although the direct economic values derived from local artisanal fisheries can seem to be relatively low, it is important to emphasize that people often depend on these goods as their main source of sustenance and well-being. The adaptations of mangrove to an intertidal environment have aroused human curiosity. Examples of such adaptations include the different shapes of mangrove roots and the prominent propagules. Numerous birds and other animals are also rare and almost unique to the mangrove, such as fiddler crabs, the mud lobster, and mud skippers. It is thus possible for tourists to spend an entire day in the mangrove looking at and appreciating interesting animals and plants. Many mangroves are potentially suitable for ecotourism or educational and heritage values. Numerous ecotourism activities are available, for example, bird and dolphin watching, eagle and commercial cage feeding, and also a visit to archaeological sites. Some night activities are also available, such as fireflies watching. For educational purpose, mangrove management centers such as EcoCare Kerteh provided good modules for outdoor classroom for students from all educational levels. However, the recreational value of mangrove is generally perceived as being relatively low compared to the other mangrove services in the developing world, although this may be underestimated for some specific sites where well-managed parks provide an important source of local income. The sustainable harvest of mangrove products for market sales can create valuable business for local communities and small-scale food producers, in particular women, indigenous people, family farmers, pastoralists, and fishers. There are different methods of estimating the economic values of mangrove ecosystems, which may serve to demonstrate the significant potential of wealth increase with the conservation of natural mangrove capital. However, few estimates of value can adequately capture the entire value of mangrove forest. The grand total of benefits derived from mangrove is likely greater than what is reflected in the estimated values of its parts. It is ultimately up to the stakeholders and decision makers to treat these numbers as illustrative and to proceed with caution in order to make informed and ethically responsible decisions. I hope you have learned and gained a lot of information regarding the economical importance of mangroves. Thank you and have a nice day.